In the valley here, Cultra are probably the biggest landowner. Maybe they own 60% of the land here. They have one site further up the river, it's called Chevy Chase or Lough, which was ancient woodland, but was in the maybe 60, 70 years ago was underplanted with conifers. Now they're doing some efforts to restore that to native woodland, but there's a huge opportunity there, especially along the river for. Hi, my name is Frank Farrell. We're here on our family forest, South Galway near Lough Cultra. It's 50 acres. There's quite a mix. There's some spruce, some bit of native woodland we're in now, and there's a few acres of ancient woodland. We've also planted about 13 or 14 acres with a native woodland scheme. Most of the forest is in the hen harrier, Lough hen harrier SPA. We're also by the Lough and Lough River, which is pretty important for connecting there's different ancient woodlands upriver and downstream. It'll be sort of a corridor between those ancient woodlands along the river. I'm also a member of this Lough and Lough woodland group. It's a local community group, local residents and landowners. And the vision is to promote native woodland, raise awareness of these kind of quite special ancient woodlands. We have a vision for connecting them, especially through state-owned land. One part of it is landowners taking part in some of the forestry schemes and also protecting bits of woodland they have either through the forestry schemes or agri-environmental schemes. Another part of it is kind of lobbying Cultra and letting them know that some of their sites are very important and worth protecting or replanting with native woodland. The biggest pressure here is grazing by deer. There's been some deer management quite successfully over the last number of years, and we can see some regeneration and ground flora coming back, but I think the deer fence is needed as well. Cultra are probably the biggest landowner. Maybe they own 60% of the land here. They have planted a lot of commercial Sitka spruce plantations, and when they're about 35 years old, they would typically clear fell them and then replant them with spruce. And that locks you into spruce for another 35 years and all the management that comes with that. So there's a great opportunity to replant with native species, connecting these ancient woodlands and protecting our water quality. Yeah, so the first step is to have some idea what you'd like to do, but it's also just worth contacting a forester to come out and have a look and give you your options. Any forester in the locality should have some projects you can go and have a look at and see how they manage things like deer fencing, species, planting, that kind of thing. We were lucky we had a very good forester. He makes the application and you don't pay for anything at any stage, ideally. The grant will cover everything from the forester's fee, the trees, any machinery or manpower, and the deer fence. Then once you have it planted, you get a premium. If you're a farmer, it's for 20 years. If you're a non-farmer like us, it's for 15 years. For 13.5 acres, it works out at about €6,000 per year. And the nice thing about that is it's tax-free as well. A lot of the Lough are designated as an SPA for the hen harrier. Any afforestation is not allowed in the SPA because of the negative impact of young plantations on breeding. So half of our farm here, roughly half, is in the SPA, so we can't plant here. In terms of schemes, that means you can't go into any of the afforestation schemes, but you still can go into other schemes. So the Native Woodland Conservation Scheme for existing native woodland, that's appropriate, and being in the SPA will help you qualify for that. Also for any spruce plantations, you can go into the new reforestation for climate resilience. You should be able to qualify for that, or the CCS schemes. 2020 we applied for the Native Woodland Scheme. On top of there's a bit of the farm that isn't in the hen harrier SPA, and it was just improved grassland. So it's 13.5 acres. We applied for that and we got that pretty quick. But then we waited for the new forestry programme to come out and we planted at the start of 2023. The big thing was a deer fence because there's a lot of deer around here, and we planted with a mix of species, native species, so oak, birch, alder, Scots pine and a whole bunch of others. So the area we're in now is a bit of birch woodland in the middle of the spruce plantation. It was planted about 30 years ago, and this area was left unplanted because it's very rocky. What you see around us is a lot of birch trees. They're all 30 years old. One of the things here is that there's not a diversity of species. It's mostly birch and some of the old hedgerow species. So our plan is to go into the Native Woodland Conservation Scheme, and what that will give us, there will be a grant to diversify the age structure and the species of tree that are here, and it will also cover a deer fence for this part of the woodland as well. If I was starting again and I was a landowner getting into forestry, one of the first things I would do is to have a look and see what the impact deer are having. The other thing is to make sure you concentrate on deer management as opposed to letting hunters in and just kind of do whatever they want to do. So it needs to be quite strategic, and it's quite if you go about it methodically and you're involved, then you can get good results. Browsing by deer has a huge impact on biodiversity, and we've seen it now with reduced deer numbers. There's more birds, there's more insects and flora, and we see a lot of regeneration happening. And so what we need is a balance in nature.